Took charge of the case, but now, more than a year later, this little girl with the huge smile is still missing. Tonight, we take you up on that hill and inside the home of Summer Wells and try to understand how a little girl could just vanish. I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. And we begin this evening with a story of a little girl. Blonde hair, blue eyes, big smile, just 5 years old, who went missing. And the question is, what happened here? What happened to this little girl? It's still a mystery. We still don't have that answer. And when you think about it, for those of you who are parents, even those of you who aren't parents can understand this. Like, you've got a child and, it's the most important thing in the world to you. And you do whatever you can to protect that child. But something happened to this child and we don't know what happened. Now, we've covered cases in the past where people have come into homes in the middle of the night and abducted children. It really happens because we've seen it happen. We've covered those cases. But this seemingly happened in the middle of the day, maybe around 6:30 at night. It's still light out. It's not darkness, Someone's creeping around, but something happened in the middle of the day to this little girl. And it makes you wonder when you see the pictures and you think about what a 5-year-old child is like. They're so curious, they're adventurous, and they're taking their bites at life, and every day is this amazing adventure. So you wonder, how could someone harm her? I mean, look at her. How could someone harm her? Why would someone do that? What type of person would do something like that? Those are all the questions that are surrounding what happened to Summer Wells. And as we sit here tonight, it's been way too long. It's more than a year. And we don't have an answer. And my fear is, because you know how many unsolved cases we cover here on Closing Arguments, I don't want this to become another one of those where, every year it's the anniversary, it's the anniversary, it's the anniversary. And we don't know where she is or what happened. And that's incredibly tragic. As I mentioned, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, in charge of this, looking at this, taking it very seriously. They know how high profile it is. And they know that Summer Wells was such a vulnerable young child that you want to solve that case. You want to solve every case, but when you've got a missing child, it takes it to another level. 1 year, people don't like using that word anniversary, all right? It's been more than a year now, June 15, 2021, that she's been missing. And the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation gave us an update on where they stand in their investigation into what happened to Summer Wells.
At approximately 6:30 p.m. on this day, 1 year ago, Summer Wells, who was 5 years old at the time, was reported missing from her home on Ben Hill Road in the Beach Creek community of Hawkins County. When we held the first media briefing on June 16th, honestly, we expected to have good news to report by the time the next media briefing came around. Unfortunately, instead, day after day ended in frustration and disappointment. At that time, no one expected that we would still be searching for Summer 1 year later. We've said from the beginning, this case is outside the norm. There are few clues as to what happened to Summer, despite investigators doing everything within their power to find answers. While investigators have been diligently working to find answers, they've had to deal with thousands of tips generated by false information that in some cases has been intentionally spread across social media platforms. We know that this case has attracted the attention of individuals across the country who genuinely care about Summer and want nothing more but to help us find answers. We appreciate those people. However, we are also aware that there are some people using this case for their own personal gain by spreading false information on social media posts as facts. Some go as far as to solicit donations. This has had a major impact on the investigation and not in a good way. Moving forward, we ask the public not to submit tips as a result of a video they viewed on YouTube or a theory they've seen posted on Facebook. Please help us and only call if you have direct, specific information about the disappearance of Summer.
Want to bring in a special guest joining us now tonight in Charleston, South Carolina, former homicide detective and host of The Interview Room with Chris McDonough. Chris McDonough with us. And Chris, I know you're one of the people that care about this case. You've done so much investigation and speaking to people. Can you believe that we're sitting here now more than a year later and still no answer?
No, Benny, I can't. I think this is a chess game right now, and the authorities who are working this, to that last point by the PIO there from TBI, there's been so much misinformation that has misguided, direction in relationship to investigators' time. So I think, when I first heard that piece of their, the press conference, it just reiterated the power of these platforms and how they should be utilized in a very responsible way so that the investigators can get on what they do and not have to waste time. So to answer your question, no, I can't believe we're still talking about this.
Well, let's do this because, as I mentioned, you've done incredible work on The Interview Room, and folks, check it out in incredible detail, taking a look at this case and the area. I want to play a piece of an interview you did with Summer's mom, where she kind of walked you through that house and walked you through what happened that day. Let's watch that, and then we'll continue to speak as that sort of tour that she gave you continues. Let's watch.
Okay, watching TV, where's Summer?
Summer, she was with me.
Okay, so walk me through that.
Alright, well, we walked up in here and we got Josie Wise away on the board.
Right,
Well,
you put the groceries down, right?
Yeah, well, we went back out and then we brought the groceries and put them down. And then Mom, she went took her stuff to her house to put her stuff away.
Okay,
And then, of course, me and Summer went back over, put our stuff away.
okay. You went back in.
Yeah, me and Summer went back in the house. And then we were just doing normal stuff.
Okay.
On the house like we normally do. And I come out, Mom was sitting there, I come out and I'm standing here. I was like, what are you doing? What are you staring at? And she's like, these plants, I gotta get them transplanted. I was like, well, Summer will help us, so I went back in. By that time, she was sitting on the floor playing with the toys.
Right here?
No, in the kitchen where we were just at.
Okay.
She was actually sitting on the floor playing with the toys at that time. I said, Summer, you want to help plant flowers? And she jumped up, left her toys and us. That's cool.
Yeah, well, that's what kids do. It's their job.
What?
Okay.
We walked over here and we transplanted these cactuses from the little pots that they were in. We transplanted these ones here into this bigger pot and that one into that bigger pot. And she took the rocks that we've gotten from different gem mines when we went up to Gatlinburg and stuff.
Okay.
And she's the one that spreaded all the rocks around in here. And then she put her puppies in here. She wanted Chase in there,
Okay.
That was cool.
Where are those puppies now?
What do you mean?
Oh, the little puppies, her real ones.
Yeah, these little.
Oh, yeah, those little guys. Oh, that's Paw Patrol.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the police one.
Yep, that's Chase. He's always on the case.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I see another one over here.
She put him in there. Yeah, you're on the cactus.
Okay. Don't take those out, okay?
No, I leave them right there.
I know.
And then we went in my mom's room. We can't get in there.
Yeah, that's fine. Went in
We
there.
went in there and got some candy and stuff. She gets from grandma.
Okay.
And I said, well, I'm going to go back over to the house. She wanted to go back, so I figured I'd go back,
Okay.
And I brought her, I literally walked over to here like literally walked up to here where I could see the boys and on the kitchen table.
Got him.
And I watched her walk in there. And afterwards, when she was already in there, I walked over and said, "Why?" And he looked at me and I said, "Watch this, I'll be right back." And that's when I walked back over to my mom's.
Okay.
And I was fixing her brace and stuff like that. And I said, "Well, Mom, I gotta go back over with the kids." And that's when I come back up into the house
Okay.
with the boys.
Okay.
Not that.
You walked into the house.
I walked into here. Yeah. I walked in here and them three were sitting right here growing with their eyes glued to the TV. Like always. And I said, "Boys, where's your sister at?" "Well, she just went downstairs, Mom, to play." So I went over here like this, because this is where the stairs are.
Okay.
It's actually down under there.
Oh, down into her
Down into
bedroom.
our bedroom, and then hers is on the other side.
Oh, okay, in the basement.
Yeah, in the basement.
Well, this makes sense now, see?
And then I yelled, I said, "Summer, Summer." And she didn't, I listened for a minute, I didn't hear nothing. So I went like this, because this is how I would get down here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to put on there or not.
Do I gotta be tiny to get in
No,
there?
you should.
Can we come in from the other side?
Well, we can, but it make more sense if you went this way.
Okay, I'll follow you. Oh, man.
Chris, as we're watching your video here, this is the entrance to Summer's bedroom?
Yeah, this is the entrance, Vinny. It's underneath like a little shelf in the kitchen. And it's cut out from that shelf, and a set of stairway goes down to the basement.
Wow. Okay, so you're coming down into the basement here with Summer's mom. What are you thinking as you're looking at all this and seeing this for the first time?
I was in shock. But you know, the old homicide detective in me kicked in, where it's like, let's just stay focused on, you know, what are the dynamics of this room? Where's Mom and Dad? Where does Summer sleep? Well, you know, what are Summer's interests? I'm trying to create a victimology in my head in relationship to the dynamics of, you know, this child's environment.
And as
It really felt.
Go ahead.
Benny. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
It felt like a dungeon. It felt like a dungeon.
So you enter the basement underneath a cabinet in the kitchen, and you kind of crawl in there backwards. You get down there. How do you get out of there?
Well, there's a door. She's going to show us a door. It's you know, you're gonna see here in a second, but you'll notice all the lights are off.
Right.
That's a wire hanging down. There's items over the windows as you come in. You can see, and there's that door right there. You could barely see it for a second. She's going to take us over there, but you see that window is covered. And now this is the door. There's a TV there that had some inappropriate material on it running while I was there. It was crazy. It was crazy.
So her story is that Summer went inside. Siblings are watching TV, so they're glued to the TV upstairs. So if Summer goes down to her bedroom, she would go down there by herself at that moment, right?
Yeah, that's the reported information. Yeah, at this point, correct.
Okay, so let's take a listen, because you did ask her about the door downstairs. Let's watch that.
We come down and I searched. I looked up underneath the beds under there. We can't really get on. I can't get on that.
Yeah.
But I looked under there, looked under every blanket I could possibly look under.
Yep.
And then I come over here and I looked on one side of the stand over. And I don't recall if this was locked or not. I don't recall that.
Okay.
But I know, it's hard on me. But I know when I did come out of there, I said, "Summer." Because sometimes she'll sit right here and just sit here and play just for, you know. And usually when she comes out and she goes directly that way up to the swing.
Oh, okay, so this is like her,
Yeah, she
where
just
she
walks.
come running out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can see the path here.
Right to the swing.
Right, you can see where she could have run right up to
and this
here.
is all the further she would go. She wouldn't leave.
Okay.
She wouldn't go out nowhere else.
This is absolutely jaw-dropping in time. I mean, I've heard bits of her accounts of that day or their accounts of that day, but it makes a lot more sense to a certain extent walking through the home now. So she's 5 years old. If she wanted to open that door, I mean, that would be no problem for her.
Providing the deadbolt is not locked above it. And what's interesting, you'll notice that Mom, when she'd gone outside and we were, talking, she was showing me some things. There are a couple of things in play here, Vinny. Number one is they had ingrained in all the children's heads not to leave the property. A. B is, and the reason for that is this idea of there's animals, there's bears, there's strangers, all this other stuff. And in one of the press conferences, Dad even says that a neighbor had pulled up on the lawn and Summer ran up to the front door of their house. So
Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Hoodoo London. Please like, share and subscribe if you enjoy the contents in this channel. I'm a licensed cognitive behavior therapist and a licensed mental health counselor. The reason I started this channel was to spread awareness for mental health purposes for missing victims, people without a voice, for justice to be served for those who can't seek or get justice by themselves, are not here in life to fight for that justice. Please like, share and subscribe. I'd like to start by wishing everyone a happy new year. I hope the new year has started well for everyone around the world. And let me move on to the case that I wanted to be talking a bit about today. Most of you all are aware of this case. On the 15th of June 2021, 6:30 in the evening, Tennessee local times, law enforcement in Hawkins County was called by parents by a mother called Candace Bly Wells. She reported a 5-year-old daughter, a 5.5-year-old daughter, Summer Moon Utah Wells, missing. And that is in Hawkins County. The timeline that we have up to today, because there hasn't been any proper timeline. This case is a very sad case. It's almost 2 years since Summer has been missing. Summer's mother and father have always said that they believe strongly that this is abduction, that somebody came into their property that is far away up in the hill and snatched Summer. They lured Summer into a vehicle, down the hill into a vehicle, and they left. A red car, allegedly, that was by Candace Bly Wells, Summer Wells' mother, and by Summer Wells' father, Don Wells. That was the explanation that we got from both parents. They believed that an abduction took place. But as soon as law enforcement was called on the 15th of June, they conducted an immediate search, a widespread search around Hawkins County, Ben Hill Road. They closed down the whole area because obviously when there's a missing case or when someone's missing, they try within the first 24 to 48 hours to get as much as information as they can about the adult or the child, the victim who's missing. So Hawkins County, led by Sheriff Ronnie Lawson, started searching for Summer Wells. A helicopter was even sent out to search for Summer. And that night, unfortunately, there wasn't any positive results up to today. But the next day, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation was called into this case. TBI, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, stands for Tennessee Bureau of Investigations. They work usually with foul cases. They work with fraudsters, fraud cases, burglaries, crime offenses, gang-related offenses, group-related, and human trafficking, all those serious offenses. Drugs and, basically production and selling of drugs and such things. So they do work with a lot. For the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation to have been called for Summer Wells's case, automatically I would assume that they sensed that foul play was involved. That is according to my belief and according to many people's belief. The reason that I said that we believe that foul play was involved is because the timelining was very sketchy. The whole story did not make sense from the start. What has basically happened is on the 15th of June at 8 a.m. in the morning, Candice's mother, that Summer is grandmother, who lives in a campus or trailer in the property itself, not far from Candice and her children, that's her daughter and her grandchildren, and Dawn, that's the husband of her daughter Candice, her son-in-law. Candy Herrer used to live there. And Candy Herrer was in pain. She had a sharp knee inflammation going on. So she said herself that her daughter Candice insisted that she would take her down to the ER just to make sure that everything is fine, because the mother was in serious strong pains. The mother had a knee bracelet on. Candice allegedly helped the mother with the knee bracelet on. And then Candice decided to take Summer with her, to leave the 3 boys behind. That is Summer's brothers between age 8 to 13 at that time. And the mother, Candice, decided to take Summer, to take her mother, and drive off to the ER. As soon as they reached the ER, they dropped off Candice's mother, the Summer's grandmother, Candy Herrer, and between 8 to 10 a.m. in the morning, Candice spoke to a 15-year-old boy called Hunter. Hunter was the son of Candice's previous friend or ex-friend. Her name is Allison, and Allison's son is Hunter. So Candice, according to Candice and according to Allison, they were close. They fell apart over, I believe, over a gentleman, may God bless his soul, who died later on this case. He committed suicide. His name is Jose. Allison was allegedly dating Jose, and Candice, according to Allison, Candice has a thing for Jose. And according to Candice, she believes that Allison made all this up. We don't know what is really true and what is false because all of these players have been lying for a very long time. I personally do not believe Allison. I don't believe Hunter. I have my reasons, and I'll come to that soon. I do not believe, what's her name? I do not believe Candice at all. I believe personally that Candice and Candy Herrer, the grandmother, and Dawn Wells, and Allison and Hunter know more than they're saying. The reason I say that is because Hunter was there in the whole timeline. Between 8 to 10 a.m., the family came, the mother, Candice Bly, her mother, and Summer came. They got Hunter. Hunter was told to ask his mother if it was all right by Candice. He woke up his mother. He asked his mother. He was bored. He wanted to tag along with them. The mother said it's okay. They came. They picked up Hunter. They went for a swim in the swimming hole. It's in the horse pond. It's a corner with, let's be honest, very unhygienic water. The water doesn't look very clean there. There's a lot of cans of Twisted Tea. There's alcohol beverage that was scattered around there, and that is coincidentally the drinks that Candice bought the minor Hunter, was only 14 to 15 years old then. Plus, he has an impulsive ADHD condition. So he has mental illness. He's under therapy. But Candice decided that it would be no problem to buy him vape and alcohol beverages. And he has ADHD. And he himself said to Chris McDonough that he did not sleep the whole of that night. So I believe as a therapist that this is important, because the mindset of a person is very important. That's the reason I believe in quote, they check to see, when they say there was a moment of insanity and such things, they check to see if insanity or mental illness had a part to do with the crime. If like basically lost it for some reason or the other, or if there was something that triggered things to go in this direction, if you have a mental illness or something like that. So I personally believe that Candice gave Hunter, provided him drugs, illegal activities. Vaping is something he shouldn't be doing either, and we don't know if she's giving him weed and such things, because we've heard rumors allegedly from Hunter, his mother, grandmother, and great grandmother, and Leslie, Allison's friend. All we know is that these children shouldn't have been put under the care of these irresponsible people who were taking them to very risky places like the swimming hole. There was a lot of branches, a lot of dangerous items sticking out and objects. So Summer could have been hurt easily. We even witnessed when Hunter was pouring water at Summer. He's a child too, he's a teenager, he was just having fun. But it looked like it was a very concerning place where he was doing it. There was a lot of rocks, there was a lot of branches, broken branches floating in the water. We heard clearly Candice, because they were recording it, Candice was telling him to stop making those gang signs, and Candice was telling him to stop splashing water at Summer. She doesn't like it. We don't know if he continued or if he didn't continue, because to be honest, Candice and Hunter are not the two most honest people that you can rely on. Moving on, they said that Candice said that she drove Hunter back home. They picked up the mother's prescriptions for the painkillers for her knee, and they drove home. If they dropped Hunter around 2 to 2:30, there's a gap line between 2:45, allegedly from 3 to 6:30. Within 3.5 hours or 3 hours and 40 minutes, nobody knows what has happened to Summer, and that timeline, that gap is the one that I believe law and enforcement and the Hawkins County Sheriff, law enforcement in general, the FBI, us web sleuths, all of us, I believe that is where the secret lies, between that timeline. What were they doing between 2:45 to 6:30? According to Candice, she said that Summer was planting flowers with her and her mother, and Summer wanted to go inside. So Candice told her to go play with her brothers, and then Candice told the brothers to look after Summer. She came back after a while. She asked the boys where Summer is at, and they said she's downstairs playing with the toys. Candice said she went downstairs. She called for Summer many times. She called out her name. She yelled out her name. Summer wouldn't come. She went downstairs. She checked under the duvets. She checked everywhere. She couldn't find Summer. That is allegedly when she reported Summer missing. Before she reported Summer missing, she decided to call her husband, Donald Wells. Don Wells was working. He's a self-employed person for wet paint. I can't remember what the name was, but basically dry painting. That's what he does for a living. He says he was in Johnson City, that's like 45 minutes away from his house, and he said that Candice called him and she said that she couldn't find Summer. He found it very strange that when Candice was driving around searching for Summer, before she called the police, I guess, he said that Candice is Wi-Fi and Messenger is working the whole way through. Now he found that strange. If Dawn finds something strange, automatically I find it strange. I would love to dig more into what Dawn meant by that. Because Dawn has said it many times in many different interviews. He's even said it to the behavior panel. In the exclusive interview, he said that he doesn't understand and is still surprised that Candice's internet Wi-Fi messenger was working. The question is, was Candice lying to Dawn by saying she's at home if she wasn't at home? Why was the internet working? Did she have some extra SIM card with some extra internet data usage? Something doesn't seem to be right, and that has sat with me for a very long time too. The question is, if Dawn believes that Candice shouldn't be having internet and be speaking on the messenger once she's away from the house areas, which makes sense. Like when we leave a house, our Wi-Fi can sometimes work a bit till we reach the lift or till we reach the ground floor or till we go out from the building or from our front door, or when we come near our house, automatically the Wi-Fi connects. So if it was due to that, it wouldn't have connected for so long. Because he said she was searching around the whole of Ben Hill area and down towards the church, so it doesn't make sense. My question is, where was Candice? Was Candice somewhere else that had internet access? Says Dawn is surprised about that. Another thing, if you hear clearly in the court TV, the one I just played, you can hear Candice when she's downstairs opening the door for Chris to show him the outside. Candice says clearly she wasn't sure if that day, if the basement door was locked or open. You can see that she's already starting to have doubts. That shows me personally that she's planned this whole thing, pre-planned this whole interview, and that she's lying. The reason I say that is David Dodson was the first person to come to the house. He and Robin was called. They're the people who work in the church, and Robin was busy. She didn't pick up. She was taking pictures of some children in the church. And David was called. He picked up. He came to the scene. He said he had to wait downstairs for a while. But he said when he came upstairs and he asked the boys about the basement door, the boys told him the basement door was locked. He said he remembers asking Candice the same too, and she said the basement door was locked. Candice even showed David some pictures of Summer and her brothers all in swimming suit, jumping in the water and all that, and she said that it was from that same day. So Candice, you can see clearly, has started her lies from the first time by changing what she told David Dodson. She changed it immediately. We know that Candice has been lying because she failed her first lie test. She took the second test and she made the excuse that the first test she failed it because she was stressed with everything that has happened. I can partly believe that, but that is not completely right. I've seen parents lose the plot when they lose their child, do not get sleep, and continue day and night searching for their child. You can see Michael Monkey Wong, his mother, as an example. She says still up to today she sleeps on her sofa just in case Michael comes knocking at the door. So we have never seen any reason, most of us, to believe Candice or Dawn. We don't see the empathy there. We don't see the remorse there. As a parent, you would be losing your mind. knowing that your child is missing, a 5-year-old beautiful little girl who depends on you, is gone. We were told, allegedly, I'm not sure, that Candice Bly left her property twice before calling law enforcement. So did she take Summer somewhere? Did they sell Summer? Today I'll be honest, because we have exhausted each and every theory out there to exhaust. Did Dawn Wells and Candice Wells sell Summer? These are people on drugs. To be drinking, smoking weed, and using cocaine like, what's his name, Don Wells, trigger warning, then you need to have a supply of money coming in from somewhere or the other. Don Wells saw the behavior panel and he told Chris in his interview over the phone, he said that the TBI asked him if he had any drug debts that he owed. That is a bit fishy question. Does the TBI know Don is past? Do they know that he's capable of doing this? Or did they find out rumors that Summer was sold? God forbid. I'm starting to take the human trafficking way very serious, because these are the cases that the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation are involved with. And for them to have been called and for them to have raised the endangerment alert to the highest, that's an amber alert, has a lot to say. I personally believe that Candice and Dawn could have sold Summer since school was starting, and since Dawn has been accused and has admitted of sex offenses with his stepsisters who were only 5 years old and he was 12 years old. Certain dirty habits die out hard. Whether he's on therapy or whether he's on his way to recover, it's still difficult. This is something that needs years and years of work and faithful and structured work, and the person has to be willing to commit 100% to it. I haven't seen Don working on certain part of his life when he was outside, because he thought that it was still acceptable to be treating his stepsisters that way. He thought that they were literally playing house and he was the older person. He knows it's wrong, but that is a typical behavior of antisocial personality disorder person. They do not recognize, or they do not admit or accept what the other person is going through, the hurt they're inflicting upon other people. They really do not care about that. It's all about them. It's a known fact. Sometimes I wonder if it's Dawn who's done something to Summer, and at times I wonder if it's Candice. But then there's a lot of times I've wondered if they both agreed to sell Summer or give Summer away or do something. It is going to be close to 2 years. Within the next 3 months, in June, it's going to be 2 years. Summer Moon Utah Wells, the beautiful girl with blue eyes, blonde hair, and a smile to die for. That little girl deserves a justice. That little girl deserves answers. We deserve answers where Summer could be. We want to know if she's alive so that she can get help. We want to know even if she's dead so that she can be laid to rest in peace. Dawn Wells, I believe, is still in jail in Johnson City. There was pending cases of the sex offenses in Utah, so I don't know if he's been sent over or if you're waiting for Utah to drop the cases, drop the charges, or to put him down for these charges. Candice Wells, we haven't heard much about besides seeing her here and there. She was seen in the church and she didn't really look like she was well. But then I can imagine losing not only Summer, losing all your 4 children will make you feel a certain way. I don't want to be judging Candice or Dawn, but all I want to know is where is Summer Wells? Summer Wells needs to be found. If she was abducted, we need answers. The people who abducted her, if they're not Candice and Dawn, they need to be punished. Justice needs to be served. If it was the parents who was behind this cruel, horrific crime with Summer Wells, they need to go down. They need to be punished. The gag order time, I believe, from the CPS is still going on. But I don't believe, and I've always said that Candice will get her children back. The reason I find that difficult is how can you give 3 healthy children who've been taken out of this nasty lifestyle, put in proper homes, definitely are missing their little sister, but are much better off where they are than they are now. Parents and children should never be separated. I'm against that. But in a case like Dawn and Candice, I believe something should have been done long time ago. Then at least Summer could have survived, and the boys could have got therapy for a long time ago. I believe Candice herself has struggled to mental health illness. You can see that she has cognitive issues. She was born with a heart problem. She was flown to Texas. She was in an incubator for a couple of months. The family moved down to Arkansas. They worked in a circus there. I wonder how much contact and connection they have with the circus, in case they ask the circus to help them to get someone who could buy Summer from them. I know it sounds cruel to say, but Tennessee has a lot of human trafficking, and a lot of drugs are in that area like meth. So I wonder, when people can't afford their drugs, we have seen people trying to sell their children or selling their children to drug dealers even. So I'm not saying that's what happened, but I'm saying someone knows something, like Sheriff Ronnie Lawson said. Even Jody Sue Brown included, someone knows something. Nobody wants to talk. If it was an accident, they should speak up. If it wasn't an accident, they should speak up, no matter what, because I don't believe that this case is ever going to die off as long as we are alive. We are dedicated to this case. Summer is the world's daughter. We have abducted Summer, and Summer needs her justice. All the other cases are being solved, from Brian Laundrie to Trezell and Jacqueline to even the Idaho murders is coming to an end. But the question is hashtag, where's Summer Wells? Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, where's Summer Wells? Sheriff Ronnie Lawson, where's Summer Wells? Detective Proots, where's Summer Wells? Defense Attorney Armstrong, where's Summer Wells? CPS of Tennessee, where's Summer Wells? We need to find Summer Wells. Have a lovely day, guys. Stay blessed. Bye.